Good evening. Welcome. I'm John. I'm the event director at Literati Bookstore. We're so pleased to welcome Sumita Chakraborty to celebrate the launch of her collection Arrow with special guests tonight, Kaveh Akbar, Franny Choi, and Taylor Johnson. Some Zoom etiquette. You heard me as you zoomed in, but as a reminder, you are muted and you will remain muted. We do ask that you keep your video off for the duration of the event as well, and we appreciate that. The chat is closed publicly, but I do encourage you to keep the chat open. For one, because I will be dropping links to book purchases in the chat, and two, because this evening after a reading, we're going to play Pictionary for prizes. And the way that you win Pictionary is that you message me, you are the first to message me the correct answer. So keep the chat window open for that, to get links to buy books and to potentially win prizes from Pictionary. And a reminder, you can purchase Arrow at our website. I'll drop a link in the chat. If you're watching later on YouTube, there are links in the description to purchase as well. You can also shop for books at literatibookstore.com. Thousands of titles are available for curbside pickup if you live in Southeast Michigan. And in lieu of a book purchase, we also ask that you consider a $5 donation to sustain our virtual event programming. So whether you'd like to think of that as a subscription for this week's events, or for events for the month of September, or a subscription for the remainder of the year, you can make a donation at literatibookstore.com/donation. Otherwise, we simply thank you for joining us this evening or this afternoon or this morning, wherever in the world you may be tuning in from. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our readers in the order that they will be reading this evening. Kaveh Akbar's poems appear in the New Yorker, Poetry, The New Republic, Best American Poetry, the New York Times, and elsewhere. He's the author of Calling a Wolf, and a chapbook Portrait of the Alcoholic, published by Sibling Rivalry. He's also the editor of an anthology of poetry about the spirit called Writing the Divine, the recipient of a Levis Reading Prize, Pushcart Prize, and a Ruth Lilly and Dorothy Sargent Rosenberg Poetry Fellowship. Kaveh is the founding editor of Dive Dapper, a home for interviews with major voices in contemporary poetry. Born in Tehran, he teaches at Purdue University and in the low residency MFA programs at Randolph College and Warren Wilson. Franny Choi is the author of Soft Science and Floating Brilliant Gone. She's a Kundiman Fellow, a 2019 Ruth Lilly and Dorothy Sargent Rosenberg Fellow, and a graduate of the University of Michigan's Helen Zell's Writer Program. Formerly a teaching artist with Inside Out in Detroit, she co-hosts the podcast Verses with poet Dennis Smith and is currently a Bullen Fellow at Williams College. Taylor Johnson is from DC. Their poems have appeared in the Paris Review, The Baffler, and Scalawag, among other publications. Their first book of poems, Inheritance, will be published in November with Alice James Books. And Sumita Chakraborty is a poet, essayist, and scholar. Her poems have appeared in Poetry, American Poetry Review, The Best American Poetry 2019, and elsewhere, and her essays and articles have appeared or are forthcoming in the Los Angeles Review of Books, Cultural Critique, Modernism, Modernity, College Literature, and Interdisciplinary Studies in Literature and the Environment, among others. Formerly poetry editor of Agni magazine and art editor of At Length, she holds a BA from Wellesley College and a PhD from Emory University. She was the recipient of a Ruth Lilly and Dorothy Sargent Rosenberg Fellowship from Poetry Foundation and has been shortlisted for a Forward Prize. Originally from Massachusetts, she now lives in Michigan, where she's a Helen Zell visiting professor in poetry at the University of Michigan. Please join me in using your Zoom clap or heart or party explosion reactions to welcome Sumita, Taylor, Franny, and Kaveh to your living rooms.
I like please join me in using your heart to welcome Sumita. That's how I always feel too when I welcome Sumita, is I use my heart and I and I encourage those around me to do the same. Sumita's bio is like really intimidating because it's like we all have like this. I mean, every poet has like the same like whatever journalists in their bio or whatever the fuck. And then like Sumita's also like, and also I'm like this wildly prolific like actual scholar who like has like actual sort of big kid publications and like actual scholarly big kid places, and I do all of the like big kid shit that y'all just sort of dance around. And so that's cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here and to get to be a tiny little part of waving my pom-poms on behalf of Sumita's incredible new book, which if you haven't read it yet, I'm a little bit jealous of you for getting to read it for the first time. Still, it would be a really cool thing to get to have that experience back again. Not back, but just like returned in some way. Like if I could just do like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Why can't I feel like people only ever call it Eternal Sunshine. No one ever says the whole thing. But if I could like just like scoop out that part of my brain so that I could go back in and experience again. This makes sense, Franny. You're laughing at me like this makes perfect sense. If I could go back in and scoop that part out so that I can enjoy the book for the first time again, that would be a really lucky thing. Yeah, this is great. I'm just going to read, I have a joke that is not mine and a poem that I wrote, and then I'll be done. I just learned this joke like 15 minutes ago, like right before I got on this Zoom, so I'm excited about it. What do you order in the restaurant called Karma?
What?
Thank you, Franny. You don't order anything, you get what you deserve. Pretty good. It's pretty good, right? Okay, I'm just gonna I thought it was pretty good. I'm just gonna read one poem and then I'll cede the floor to my betters. I gave okay, it's already been posted in the chat, I think, if you would like to follow along for any reason. There's some Farsi here. And I don't actually, my first language was Farsi, but I don't really speak Farsi like that anymore. So I'm trying to slowly teach myself to read it. And so you will hear me trying to pronounce Farsi here that I can't really speak. And I'm sort of narrating my own anxieties about that right now in order to get in front of them in case there are any native Farsi speakers in the audience. You'll hear me just sort of sounding out the words like a 5-year-old sounds out words. Which I think is actually kind of part of the poem, but anyways. And the Ferrukhzad mentioned in the title is the poet Farooq Ferrukhzad, F-O-R-O-U-G-H, though it's a transliteration. Ferrukhzad, who is a major Iranian poet of the 20th century. So I'm just going to read this poem and then I'll be done. This is called Reading Ferrukhzad in a Pandemic. The title is a lie. I can't read Farsi. Maharche ra ke boyad az dast dahte bashim az dast dadim. I can make out. We lose. We lose. I type it into a translation app. We have lost everything we need to lose. In between what I read and what is written, need. Everything. Here, the waving flag. Here, the other world. Because we need mail, people die. Because we need groceries, people die. I write because we need, knowing we dilutes my responsibility, like watercolors dipped in a fast river. Get behind me, English. When I text Maharche ra ke boyad az dast dahte bashim az dast dadim to my dad, he writes back, we have lost whatever we had to lose. Hammering pentameter, whatever we had. People die because they look like him. My uncle jailed, his daughter killed. This is a real fact, too wretched for letters, and yet, my uncle jailed, his daughter killed. Waving world, the other flag, there is room in the language for being without language. So much of wet is cold. So much of diamond is light. I want both my countries to be right to fear me. We have lost whatever we had to lose.
Yay, Kav. That was so beautiful, Kav. I'm jumping in. Yeah, okay, cool. Hi everybody. My name is Franny. I'm really excited to be here and to get to be part of this celebration train for Sumita and her incredible book, Arrow. I was telling folks earlier that I read Sumita's book in kind of a pile of other books, like in a pile of other manuscripts, sometime last year. And when I, like, halfway through the first poem in the book, I literally shouted to nobody in the living room and threw my hands up into the air. And I think that if there's like anything that shows that like poetry might move someone, it's if you like actually like literally are moved, right? I don't know, I'm just I'm like, I feel really grateful to get to be in the company of Sumita's words and the like bravery and rigor, like not just like not like bravery in the way that like white people like say to talk about like the poems of people of color, but like bravery of craft, the kind of like audacity of the book. It just has sort of like infected my brain, and I'm very, very grateful for that infection. So and it makes me so happy to know that you're there at Michigan too, Sumita, and that you're that like the community of people around Michigan and in Ann Arbor get to get a little bit of your magic. It makes me so very happy. Also, what an amazing thing to be pressmates with these three people. Like, what an incredible thing. Taylor's book is going to rip the whole world apart when it comes out in November. So I'm so excited for that. So I'm going to read one poem, and if it goes faster than I think it's going to go, then I'll read another little one. But I think I'll probably just read the one. There's a Google Doc if you'd like to read along, or if you need to read along. It's called Grief is a Thing with Tense Issues. I was trying to think about something that might speak back to some of the amazing sort of excavating work that's happening in Arrow. So here's my little attempt. Grief is a thing with tense issues. It's in sections. In the grocery store, I gently squeeze every avocado. When people stare, I say, don't criticize my mourning process. When they smile reassuringly, it just makes things worse. So I walk out reciting denial, anger, bargaining, denied, angered, bargained, will deny, will anger, will bargain. The problem with using a word like mourning in reference to the future, as when a mother in a movie says to her gay son, you're dead to me. She mistakes glow for a grave, but there he is, a constellation of coals. Here's something I can say about us. We're not dead, not yet, not anymore. Question, what's the point of grieving in the future tense? Answer, let me tell you this now so you know before you don't know anything. You were good, you lasted, and at last you were, you had been, you will had been. I will have missed your is. Do you know that? Will you have known that? On the phone, I ask my mother about a memory. Am I mourning that right? I want to know. Just pretend it didn't happen. I just say it didn't happen, she says. It happened. Am I saying that right? What happened? Did it happen? Everyone you know someday will die. Will was, will used to, will had been. What knew, would have, forgotten. Were to have known, were to have lived, were to have been lived. I sit on the train toward Chicago and mourn the avocado softening in my kitchen. This too is practice, avocado being the smallest unit of grief. It's rock and ripe and gone, rock and ripe and gone, which should be a lesson. Instead, of course, the fruit is just another imagination that passes through me on its way to unknowing. Question: is it possible to experience anticipatory feelings toward the past? Answer: a hole gaping, pulsing as I run toward it, though it's the running that pushes it away. In other words, the event is horizontal, an event horizon mothering itself. Kaveh is the person who taught me the word horizontal, by the way. Thanks, Kaveh. Question: what is the past tense of lived? Answer: once I looked back and purchased vowel after vowel. I devoured the minutes which had already been dripping from my teeth. I smashed the fruit against the bowl and called it salvage. I retraced my steps, then retraced the retracing. What could I have done? I'll say it every night before the day slips into rot. What could I have done? They'll say, what was it like to have so many people on Earth at once? They won't say that, but I'll answer anyway. It was very busy. There was always something to avoid. I'm softening around my stone. I'm browning into dirt. Mother, you taught me a word from and never toward. If you speed on ahead, earth forbid, I'll know. I knew. I dreamt of you, stoneless once. I know, still, that it was you. Somehow, I'll knew. I think I'll just read that one and let Taylor take over. Congrats, Sumita. I'm so excited to play Pictionary.
I'm also looking forward to Pictionary, so I'm going to read one poem. Sumita, this is such an honor to be with you today and to celebrate with you in this way. I wish we could be in a room together, but this is also great, and it's also great to be with Kaveh and Franny. True honor. So I'll just read one, and then we'll draw, which is my real talent, as you'll see. Nocturne. What was rampant in me was not wisteria, perhaps decay or loss of reflection. No one like me gets old, or so I thought, even as I watched the days fade into each other. Was I no one? Which phrase means a grown-up girl, mica gilded, pure myth, gone. Thoreau might say I was trying to find the door to nothingness, that the wild was already in me. However, I walked out my bed to find my skin only to return moon-drunk, bramble-laden, stripped to sinew, a broken syntax. No denying how I got here. I laid down among the tall grass and came up a specter. I came up everywhere. Let's draw.
I can't wait for drawing either. I'm really, really tempted to skip the part where I read and go right to the part where we draw. I'm not going to, but mostly because of this peer pressure and all the head shaking that's happening right now. Thank you all so very, very much for coming. I was very concerned that everyone before me was going to make me cry like a million times before getting to my part, and then I would be all snotty and choked up and strange. But fortunately, I barely held it back. Might still be snotty and choked up and strange, but still, at least there wasn't ugly weeping literally in front of all of you who have been so kind as to come here and hang out with us and play some games and hear some poems tonight. I have so many people to thank for mine and this book's existence that I would never stop if I started listing. I will say a few things, though, that I would be remiss and very sad not to have gotten the chance to say. First, if I didn't thank Carrie, Alyssa, Emily, and Julia at Alice James Books. They are the best in the game. I think all of us know this. And they have made this first book debut, Terrifying Process, into a joyous one, into an occasion for reflection, and retrospection in a way that truly I marvel at all of their gifts and all of their talents, and I'm grateful that they spent any of it on this little book. I owe mountains of gratitude to myriad teachers, friends, including all of you in the audience and all of you here who are going to be playing with me and reading poems today. My voice is already quivering, so I'm going to just press pause on that before I just become a blubbering mess. To my outstanding husband, who I banished to another end of the apartment because him being supportive next to me was just like, I was like, too much niceness, go away. I know you're out there, hey. Thanks, love you, owe you the world. And also I wanted to offer a moment of solidarity. I'm, as was mentioned before, I'm a professor here at the University of Michigan, where the Graduate Students Union has just gone on strike, as have the student workers for the residential res hall staff and some student dining hall workers. And I wanted to say, among all of the people who shape me and teach me and show me the way at every institution I have been able to enter and survive in and escape from, it is always students who show me the way in some really, really critical ways. This is no different from that. I know that we've got some grad students in the house tonight. I want to thank you for taking some time to hang out with us. I hope this can be a fun respite of sorts. Keep up the good fight, and I'm here for you and pulling for you, and we're here to support you for as long as it takes. Thanks for your work and your leadership, even though you shouldn't have had to lead in this particular way. Okay, I'm going to read some poems. I'm going to read two. Sean, can you thumbs up if you got the Google Docs? Because if not, I can just drop the links in the chat.
If you want to drop them in the chat, that'd be great. I think everyone will be able to see them.
Okay, great. Sorry for making you be a disembodied voice.
No, it's fun. I don't get to do it often.
All right, so I'm going to be reading two poems tonight. One of them is long, the other is very short. Hopefully the short one makes up for it. Makes up for the length of the long one. So anyone with the link? Oh, that's what I did. John, I messed it up. I made it like an internal networky thing instead of anyone with the link can view. Okay, so that should get folks to the first poem I'm going to read. That's the long one. And well, we're now seeing the face that my students have to see a whole lot, where I pretend that I can talk and type at the same time. I cannot. Anyone with a link, copy link. And this is poem. All right. So the first poem is called Marigolds, and it is the very first poem in the book. Hopefully you all will enjoy jumping and shouting like Franny. It's the long one. This book tells a story of what it feels like to live in the multiple aftermaths of multiple different kinds of violence. And in my case, the most significant one was domestic violence. I grew up in a household pretty chock full of it until I moved out as a teenager. And what I wanted, the story that I wanted to tell in this book wasn't a progress narrative where I'm now better, but it was also, I didn't want to renounce the idea of healing and betterment altogether. I wanted to confront the ways in which some of the things I experienced in my childhood have shaped me and brought me to dark places that I'm not entirely proud of. So I'm not in this book consistently a valiant, virtuous victim. And I also wanted to acknowledge that I had spent some time kind of digging through those things and learning how to change them. So essentially, the book begins with kind of a Bill Dunn's romance, so a coming of age story. And in that way, it's interwoven with a lot of literary references because I didn't really start to feel like a person and start to grow at all until college. And that was really linked up directly with when I first started to read these wacky things we call poems. So there'll be a lot of literary references in there. There are also a bunch of lines in here from Titus Andronicus, which is Shakespeare's most profoundly messed up, bloody play. And that kind of syncs up for me with where my speaker is at this point when the book begins. The speaker is newly independent, newly finding her anger and her place in the world, newly feeling like she can take up space and yell things really loud, and is using that sometimes to yell some kind of cruel and harsh things. So that's where this first poem finds me. It also ends with a reference to my sister's death. My sister died suddenly in 2014 at the age of 24, and that's another one of the things that the book is in the entire aftermath of. So that's the first poem. I'll read that, then I'll read the short poem that ends the book. And if you want to find out what's in the middle, you will need to buy the book. Or win at Pictionary. You're going to get a free, if you win at Pictionary, you'll get a free signed copy. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay. Marigolds. When I picture Robert, he is in the public garden, watching setting suns like the ill-fated king turn all to gold. Robert with the swans, Robert under the statue of Washington, Robert amid the tulips. Without a childhood home, I made for myself a house of orchids, of sewer grates with fishes on them, of forsythia and maple trees. Of this I am sure. When Robert crossed the bridge between Boston and Cambridge, he saw Poseidon. In late summer, he could tell that underneath the sailboats is a god mighty and to be feared. In midwinter, he alone knew the ice could not long contain that god. In the pipes in his home, he heard the gurgle of illness. I smell illness in the riotous orchid blooms. What are midnight trees? I think that once I knew one such tree, if it is the kind owls gather on nightly to fight, barking, eyes dim with bloodlust and the hiss of feathers, I built for myself a house of orchids with a cave underneath. A cave shaped into an armory brimming with tarantula hawks, giant sparrow bees, and admiral butterflies. In place of stalactites hang treeless, inextricable roots. Oh, sacred receptacle of my joys. The day I first learned the word Argonaut, I wrote it in a poem. I searched the seas for one. I searched the skies. I searched a painting. In the painting, I found the word spears, which I drove slowly into my father's ribs. He I eulogized and he I resurrected, reaching again for the spears. I have seen countless full moons fail, each of them hollowed, flooding heart first to the craw-faced light, the bracken underneath. Then the sound of a wounded owl, a soft, sudden darkness in my throat. Oh, how this villainy. In morning, the owls are replaced by hawks. From one angle, broad-winged hawks seem to have two pairs of hollow eyes. We are looking for you, say the kettles of satellites to the humans lost, to the plane disappeared, to what lives 30 miles below the surface of Enceladus. On this morning in April, Hikesun 01, Ocean Shield, and HMS Echo hear a thump that sounds like the colors inside an oyster shell. The frequency of the noise can make a heart stop. Anxious as seaweed over the sides of the ships creep hordes of trembling locators. The satellites stare with breath hitching in their throats. Between the wine-colored hull of Ocean Shield and Enceladus lies 8 times the distance between Earth and the sun. 30 miles below the surface of that geyser-ridden tiger-striped Saturnian moon lies life, report the satellites. The hawks steal their 2 pairs of eyes up toward alien oceans on other planets. What I am is all that I can carry, wrote Deborah. What can I carry? All that I caught, I left behind. All that I missed, I carried. The hawks are not looking toward alien oceans. I am. I am looking too to alien men and women. I picture hurtling into them by turn to serve my lust. I picture us bent sideways, impaled, contorted, and screaming. I picture the different shades of a moan. The word bed fills the 4 eyes in my mind with the color gold. Gold of the ill-fated king and the garden sunset, gold glinting in a decaying tooth, golden rod, a haze of pollen, the dragon's treasure, a long necklace of many fine gold chains reaching down to a woman's hips. Young woman walks down to the river of gold. Young woman walks down to the river and drowns. In the word bed, also joyously wail, bed, the color of ashen near death, bed, the fleshly color of bodies broken for good, bed, the color blue of heart-stopped lips. Oh, here I lift this one hand up to heaven. The ghosts of the poisoned dogs live in the piano. The ghost of my mother, still living, lives in her excised tumor and staghorn kidney stone. The ghost of my ability to love without grief, still living, lives in this poem. All my pockets filled with stones, in the river I'll be found. Why then I am the devil's dam. Dangle me from a cliff 12,000 feet above sea. Oh, speak with possibilities. Build me a skin of glass to cover the Grand Canyon. Throw me on it. Summon 1,000 wilding mares. Restrain them with massive chains, foot-long links of hardened steel. When the chains buck from fracture, let the mares stampede the glass, bid them trample my body, watch from a great distance as the glass cracks, watch us beasts entangle, watch me take a hoof to the mouth, to the skull, to the groin, hear us squeal and bark and howl, calling out as wretches do to failing life. When at last we 1,001 blood-filled creatures reach the bottom of the canyon, throw yourself in. My voice in your ear will tell you that you were meant to die like this, a beautiful and inelegant dive onto a field of reds, some bright and sun-kissed, some dark and pulp-dashed, your and our blood across the burnt orange schist. See, oh, see what I have done. I fear neither the sight of nor the word for blood. HMAS Albatross has joined the search for the plane. It is May now, and there is no sign of it. The detritus lied. The home I made is of orchids, forsythia, barbed wire, and burnt metal. In the bedroom, I planted what I imagine a midnight tree to be. Its roots join the treeless roots in the armory beneath. Ravished, my hands cut off, my tongue cut out, I put my home under the wisteria, craving owls at war under thick purple overhang. No territory there is that is not mine. The albatross, it is mine. Enceladus is mine. Your innermost thigh beneath the wisteria, mine. Poseidon is mine, and the river between Boston and Cambridge, and the one that wends through Georgia, floods into the Gulf. I am dreaming of a monument to moments colonized by theaters of the imagination. Oh, monstrous. The O of a mouth without a tongue. The O of two pairs of lips clasped, starving on one another. Horns and cry of hounds. The ballet in my deadly standing eye is the arrow's flight into the neck. The horses tumble into the canyon. A nation's search for a single tiger with quills in its neck, a spilt cloud of felled bees, the elephant's horror in the flock of red-billed birds, feathered locusts who from their first breath form trembling caverns with their mouths, their aggregate force snapping branches off of trees. The orchestra plays low drum beats, a single singer carving the melody. Do not, I pray, promise me an untroubled lake. Take me instead to the rivers with vengeful gods under steaming and frozen waters. Take me instead for the stag, the rifle, and the hunter. Promise me unending days in which I can picture, then picture again, a fire whirl, the slowness of the sea, drinking a ferry or a plane, the gasps of air bubbles around carapaces, the moons of Saturn. I myself am hell's, and I prize them as if they were the rarest blooms. Promise me I will always reach again for spears, await the horses on the glass above the gaping hollow O of the earth. All is lost, flee this house. So chance James's Ouija, or perhaps in the palace of time our lives are a circular stair and I am turning, writes Lucille's ghost-guided hand. Always in my mouth, I hold the head of an axe with its bit at the back of my throat. Oh heavens, can you hear a man groan? Here nothing breathes but we phased and hungry. Oh wondrous thing. Worlds such as this were not thought possible to exist, writes the astronomer. It is June. Deep beneath those golden waves of the river I'll be found. My sister has joined the list of those I mourn. Her ghost lives in each powder-winged moth. In the ballet, the stage fills with a troupe of dancers in dusty gold skirts, shoes asphyxiation blue, hair the tones of flesh. Center stage are 6 dancers who wear only red, moving in unison so they throb as one bloodied yoke. The troupe around them shudders as though in blissful death throes. The single singer quiets, the orchestra breaks down its instruments. For my brethren slain, I ask a sacrifice, O barbarous, beastly villains like myself. Die. Die saying please, die longing, die helpless, die with your eyes fixed to the most treacherous side of a mountain, to newborn stars, to plains not found, die with your throat stuffed, so that each moment hereafter is a dream of a gasp, die so that my midnight tree might grow new branches, die like a sapling struck by lightning in an ash-ridden and still smoldering field, die amid the tulips, die smelling the orchids I grow, die in the mass of horses in a pied flock of shrieking birds. From the oceans, creatures great and small take to the land. From the land, each parachuted seed takes to the sky. From within my armory comes a scent melodious and unearthly. A strain of moths, black, flies as though sewn each to each at the wing. Their flight path blooms dark into the gray air like a print from a silvered glass plate. Soon we will learn our bodies are formed of dead stars, so that if we made incisions from breastbone to rectum, the caves within would reveal themselves to house celestial ash. As the stag, I fear the mouth of the rifle. As the rifle, I point my mouth deadly toward you. As the hunter, I execute myself so that I may feast. Worlds such as this were not thought possible to exist. My lord, I aim a mile beyond the honeyed moon. Oof, I need some water. Okay, so from there, I'm going to skip right to the very, very end of the book. One of the central struggles of the book is kind of how to honor the fact that one's individual grief feels really, really massive, as I write it in that early poem, and feels all enveloping, and like you therefore have the result to claim, or the right to claim whatever you want in retaliation for all that's been taken from you. One of the principal struggles of the book, and also frankly my own aftermath life, was to come to terms with the questionable aspects of that kind of mindset, and kind of accept that while I deserve to honor my own grief as massive and own scales as cosmic, there is also a scale of the cosmic, of the broader world, on which my own individual grief barely rates. And navigating that tension while retaining both compassion for individual pain, and kind of a fixation on the bigger picture, of different scales of suffering and different scales of violence and pain, is one of the central kind of threads of the entire book. So the last poem doesn't find me so much triumphantly declaring that I nailed it, because I'm just not that kind of person, but does find me in a rather different place than that first poem with which I began. So I'll read that, and then we'll draw some pictures. And my art is not drawing. I'm going to be terrible. So this is going to be truly hilarious. I like being awful at things. So I'm really genuinely excited for this. Okay. This poem is called Oh. Stars are not the end, but the beginning. A bird is to its throat as a promise is to its sharp edge. I wanted to make for you a sun shower. Instead, I've made for you a mortal thing. Writing is knowing how to cut. There is a space in my body that did not exist when I began this book. It is a window. When I next speak, I will do so through that window. Please leave the window unlatched. When I next speak, it will be with changed lips. I wonder what their color will be. Finally, she enlarges the figure to a grand scale and cuts off its head. Thank you all so much for listening to me.
So yeah, I think it's time for Pictionary. So I think maybe we go in reverse reading order. Sumita, so you could start us off, and then to just go back down that way.
Perfect.
So
Okay,
we'll Franny and then Kaveh, and then yeah, and a reminder, readers, to send me the word. Make sure you send it to me privately instead of to everyone. Otherwise, you've tipped your hand to the picture. And then for all of our guests, use the chat. It'll be share screen, so you might have to escape back to just your regular screen to keep the chat window open, or you can keep the chat window while it's full screen. But either way, figure out how to get your chat screen open still. And then you can send me your guesses, and whoever gets the first guess, I'll stop everything and say, okay, we have a winner. And then when I announce that you're the winner, email me at john@literatibookstore.com, and then I'll set you up with Sumita for your lovely prize, which is
a signed free copy of Arrow. And other folks were talking about throwing in something to a goodie bag too. Not sure exactly what that'll look like yet. So the book's guaranteed, and other treats are also very likely guaranteed.
Let's remember a goodie bag.
Yeah, forthcoming surprise poetry treats with a definite free signed copy of Arrow. So hopefully, we wanted to make things a little bit more fun and interactive, since I know folks are getting a little bit burnt out on the constant reading thing. So here's what's going to happen. We're all using a random word generator, and it has 4 different levels for difficulty: easy, medium, hard, and really hard. And I have set literally no rules for anyone. So this is just going to be pure chaos. Everyone is welcome to pick whatever level of word they want, and then we will draw it for you. Are we also guessing on each other's things, or are the people?
Yeah, are we shouting as the or because we don't want to give it away to
I think
what if we're so good, that we like get all of them?
I think we
Other's things, because I feel like part of the fun is like seeing all of each other's such and such. Sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Huh?
I missed the first part.
Can everyone, like, when people are like airplane, like, do we all see that, or are you the only one who's?
No, I'm the only one who sees that.
Is there a way to make it so we can all see that? Because I feel like that's the fun part.
Yeah, we can do that. I will say that if people take advantage of that chat, I have to shut it
Nobody
down.
ruin our friggin'.
Yeah, don't ruin Pictionary, guys.
That would be a new low. That would just be, I don't even know how you do that. So
All right, now that everyone's thoroughly scolded, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to let anyone else in anymore. So if people are trying to get in really super late, like with 10 minutes left in the event, they're SOL. So I'm going to open the chat to everyone publicly. Okay. And yes, so you can use that again to submit your answers. But I know the word. And so when I see it, we'll stop and say such and such is the winner. And then they can email me and they're the winner.
Sorry, I apologize for being so full of inquiry. Are we on, so I'm on this random word generator now. Are we doing easy, medium, or hard? Because I
leave that just pure chaos. Do whatever you want.
Easy for one, and then my first word was circle, which I feel like is going to be like.
I can win.
I feel like maybe we want to like stick to medium or something, because I feel like just for the sake of people want to feel like they've earned their free signed copy of Arrow.
All right, so medium.
My first word on medium is kiss. Kiss is a good Pictionary word. Right?
Yeah, that's a good word.
Oh,
That's a good
hard.
Okay. Can we as the people who have their mics on, like, can we like give commentary even if we're not like guessing, if we're not giving it away?
Please
okay, cool. Okay.
And you know what? Even if you give it away, then it'll be like whoever jumps in there quickly and types whatever someone reminded them of. That's great too. It doesn't have to be an all honorable game of Pictionary.
So wait, is just the first person who gets the first Pictionary the winner of the prize pack? Are we?
There's four, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There'll be there are 4 chances to win. There are four rounds of Pictionary. So
I'm a Capricorn and I want to know all the rules before I play it.
I'm an Aries. I want
You're a Capricorn. Interesting.
All right, so it's supposed to be Paige. Then you get 4 books. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. So.
Oh yeah. So yeah. What do we do if someone wins all rounds?
We'll figure that out later.
Maybe just like don't guess if you've already won.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
I think that's smart. Let's spread the wealth here.
Can you
Spirit
all
of solidarity.
Yes. Great. Okay, so I have a word. Oh, I forgot to.
You guys send it to me.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I almost forgot.
Undo that.
Well, but I guess that Sumita could. No, that makes sense.
Hold on.
Well, that way Sumita can keep drawing, and I can just
not monitor the chat.
Yeah, and I can stay eagle-eyed at all the guesses because they're gonna come in fast. I know it's gonna be straight.
So, Sean, send you my word.
Oh, okay, all right. I know the word. I now know the word.
You have the power. Okay. And I will try to draw this. It's actually theoretically shouldn't be very hard, but I'm really bad at this. Okay.
Yes, you guess by messaging
like
everyone.
It looks like a Bart Simpson.
Like a
Bart Simpson here.
Getting some Bart Simpson.
Oh, somebody said
Wow, people
dinosaur. That seems good.
Getting some Bart Simpson.
Crown. It would be funny if it was like a crown. It was like tilted.
Getting some Bart Simpson.
Whoa.
Well, that was your first drawing. Ignore that one. We're starting over.
Okay.
Names.
Oh.
There's a racing in this
Looks
picture.
like a.
Oh, we have a winner. Caroline New
Thank God.
is correct. The answer is wing. Caroline New.
Oh,
Email me
Nice.
at John
Shire.
literatybookstore.com.
I love the version that said pterodactyl. I like the specificity of
We
pterodactyl.
should have done like
Caroline
like Yeats Pictionary poets.
It is. It's a Yeatsian wing. Who better for our times?
The Widening Gyre is truly a poet crowd answer to Pictionary.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Oh my god.
Oh wait,
I love this, by the way.
I have to.
Yeah, send
Glad
me
you all are putting up with this experience.
send me your
Anyone have anywhere to go? Like keep doing this after the. We just like.
Y'all want to have Pictionary Club every Thursday at
Yeah, I mean, like
7:54?
several of our spouses are in attendance. It's like we're spending good family time too.
Yeah. All right,
Oh,
here we
Wait,
go.
Taylor, I don't know your word yet.
Oh shit! Hold on. I'm having an issue.
I feel like all of us would make that exact thing.
Okay.
Just message.
Okay. Did you get it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
I know.
It's
That's
gonna be
scary.
a fun one.
All right.
All right. Can you see it? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Ooh, and green.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Got a
Character.
And people just
Seems
start fast.
like a human being of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh, Brody Wood said friend.
Oh.
Oh. Oh god. I love seeing the guesses evolve.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? It's like the Korean flag. No.
This is a tough one.
Giant. Somebody said giant hostess cupcake. That would be really good if that was one of the things. Wait, what is the thing?
Come on.
My question is it significant that this person has 1 foot?
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, getting.
Oh my
getting-
gosh. Fishing,
Oh, wow.
swimming pool, throwing, making
Ramen?
dinner.
No, probably not.
Wow.
Oh,
Letter.
oh, oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a yow. It's a classic yow situation.
How are you guessing?
Rabid trash can. Somebody said hurt and burn.
I feel like
Somebody
hurt.
earlier said stove. Maybe that's.
That's what hurt.
This is like
Ooh.
I like thinking
Yow.
the can, and this is like popular childhood game, and Taylor just thought to illustrate it by being like, "Yow!" Just
Yes, we got the correct answer. Annika, sorry, hot tub is correct.
Great.
Hot
Amazing.
It looks
tub.
like-
Man, that's tough to make sure I brought it.
Wow.
oh, and yowling.
Oh, yeah.
The hot tub.
Okay.
All right, so Annika, you can email me at john@literatybookstore.com. So Caroline and Annika are winners for the first 2 rounds.
Yay,
Brittany, I
congrats,
feel like
Annika.
you're gonna be like kind of closet good at this. I feel like you're like
What do
you're
you mean
like
closet good?
oh.
Like, I just take games like too seriously. Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
saw-
All right. All right. Okay, John, I'm gonna tell you. I think this is gonna be fine. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Wait, can I do colors or no?
Yeah, you can do color and like
Where are
brush
the-
width and stuff.
Where are the colors?
You click on the green, which is somehow the default, and then a whole world opens up for you.
The green. Oh my god. Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner. Sorry, I have to find
Wow.
who said it first. That was really quickly.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh wait, no, we don't. We don't.
Oh,
Sorry,
oh,
keep
no
going.
winner.
Keep going.
No
keep going.
winner. No winner.
Sorry, that's
No
my fault.
winner.
That's my
Okay.
fault. That's my fault. Ooh, I just was reading your clue again.
No,
No, we have a winner. Christopher Crowder is the first to answer Tiger.
Hi, Chris.
Tiger. This is Tiger.
Chris Crowder is correct. Christopher Crowder. You can email me at john@literarybookstore.com.
an American poet, Chris Crowder.
Wow.
So those are.
What was that actually?
What was that?
It was Tiger. The answer
It
was
was-
Tiger.
Obviously, Tiger.
Kind of
is
like we've
real.
had like Easter Wings, we've had Blake, we've had like this is like a kind of poetry. I don't know what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was Tiger, but was it spelled with a Y or?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get like fearful symmetry. Oh, okay. This is not a hard one. Okay.
All right.
Oh, I
God.
touched.
Oh, someone is also mentioning that they might have one on Hot Tub and that I may have missed it, which is entirely possible.
Go through the
no.
transcript.
So I will go through the chat.
Yeah.
I have this. I have saved the chat log. So Annika, I'm sorry. I have to do. People are saying recount. Yeah, it's on me. You guys type so fast. That's why it's tough. But I will confirm that, and I will not fudge anything there. So it seems like we may have had a so whoever the person private messaged me said that they got
Somebody said hot foot, but I don't think that
Hot
counts.
Tub first.
Oh.
Email me at johnliterarybooks.com. I will confirm that that's the case in the chat, and then
Hot pot.
Figure it out. You'll get what you deserve.
that's
Okay.
right. Call back.
Karma.
Nice.
Okay, I'm texting this one now just to John. Right.
Okay, I got it. This is the last round, everybody. The last chance to win. I'm gonna just have my eyes locked on the chat. Okay.
All right. Is everyone ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I hope I win.
I don't know how I win, but
Okay.
Sushi.
Okay. Wow, people are really in here guessing already. Ooh. We've got dimensionality.
Holy-
Functionality.
Oh.
Oh my
Is it
God.
Well, we have a
dimensionality?
winner. We have a winner. We have a winner. We have a
Oh,
winner.
wow.
The winner is Zurabi. The answer is
yay.
pie. The
Many
answer
people said
was
pie.
pie. So Zurabi, you can email me at john@literatibookstore.com. I'm pretty sure that's not one that I messed up. So
Okay, now you're just showing off.
I'm putting it
You are showing off.
awesome.
And the windowsill. I love that it's also like a pie chart.
That's where the name comes from.
Oh,
Um,
that was so fun, you guys.
I know.
wow, that timed out perfectly.
Good.
We're at the top of the hour. Thank you everybody for participating. Thanks for. I'm going to close the chat now too. That was just so lucky on so many counts. And thank you all for participating and for being for not taking advantage of the chat. It makes me feel good about the humanity in the world. Thank you, readers, so much for being here and sharing your work. And congrats, Sumita, on this beautiful collection. We're so honored and thrilled to be able to launch it. And thank you
for all your work.
Thank you for joining us. Again, buy books at literatibookstore.com. I'm going to put the link in the chat one more time to where you can buy all of our readers' books and pre-order Taylor's book right there at that link. Oops, nope, I sent it privately to one person.
Chosen one.
One more time. There it is. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks so much. I don't know what to say. I'm overwhelmed. That was so fun.
Congratulations,
So much.
Sumita.
Thank you. Thank you all for reading and for drawing with me. Thanks to everyone for coming. All right, I'm going to unhinge myself from the screen now because otherwise I'll just thank you for the next 12 hours. Okay.
Take care, everybody.